And welcome everyone to the Circle of Debate podcast, top 5 picks of the week. We're back for top 5s. I know that we've been taking a little break because our schedule is very difficult to get everybody, but at least we got the god of podcasting here, ladies and gentlemen. That is right, the man of disaster, the king of sting, the man with the plan, and that is, by god of podcasting, Money Mike Lopez, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, because we're here today to do our top 5. And this top 5 is top 5 SummerSlam pay-per-views. Such credible history of SummerSlam. I mean, the list is so phenomenal. And obviously, we know from the first SummerSlam that happened, obviously, in 1988, August 29th. And, it's so many, I don't know how many years already. Mike has been like, 88, 21. So what are we looking at?
31 years?
About 31 years, 32 years.
Or somewhere around that.
Yeah.
I'm not a math major.
I'm not a mathematician either. But but yes, that's over 30 years, I believe. So, and of SummerSlam, great and some bad. But we're here to talk about the best that we love, that we recall the cards of these pay-per-view matches. So let's just start it off. So I'm going to go ahead and go first because I'm going to save the god of podcasting for last. So here we go. Here's my top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Top 5 is number 5. I did enjoy this card because it was an epic and it was a sold-out event. Going back to my, I would say, teenage age of learning and acknowledging SummerSlam. Like the first one I ever watched was SummerSlam 1992 when it was in England, when it was Bret the Hitman Hart versus the British Bulldog for the Intercontinental title. That was the main event. And of course, British Bulldogs, hometown of England, won the Intercontinental, had the biggest ovation. It was an epic event. And for Vince putting that as a main event instead of the Warrior and Savage at that time for the WWF title, he decided to go with Bret Hart and British Bulldog. Of what I hear, it was Bret Hart who kind of convinced Vince, like, hey, this is Bulldog's home. Let us steal the show. Let us close it out. And they did, and they did an incredible job. And also with Legion of Doom defeating Money Inc., which was Ted DiBiase and IRS for the WWF tag team titles. And that was another epic event for them too, finally, gaining that WWF tag team titles. So, so this card was not bad. If you have not seen it, I would recommend to go. I don't know, Peacock has that shit. But I'm not subscribed to Peacock. I don't think Money Mike is either. No, we're not.
You can have that.
Yeah, I can have that. We're not. Or look for it somewhere on YouTube or something. You never know. Somebody, you'll find it. But go back and look at that. Number 4, I did enjoy this one because it was SummerSlam in 1997. Bret the Hitman Hart versus The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels was being the guest referee. And of course, that was what we were seeing, the carnation, the fruition of D-Generation X barely growing at that time from Shawn Michaels becoming what he was. And also Bret Hart being, he was a great heel at that era. And him being the 5-time WWF champion, defeating The Undertaker. And also you had Austin and Owen Hart. The card was great as well. Another recommendation that I would highly watch, go back and look at it. Great storytelling in that whole event. And I enjoyed it very much. My number 3 is SummerSlam 1998. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. But besides that match, we had the ladder match. The Rock, Triple H for the Intercontinental title. That was another great epic ladder match. And then you could tell that The Rock and Triple H, which that match is not really talked very highly, but it should be. The fact is that you had these two individuals who was trying to kind of like rekindle of the Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon WrestleMania 10 moment. But these two did put a hell of a match, a hell of a show on that match as well. And Triple H becoming the Intercontinental title. So it was great. I enjoyed it. And I believe what other matches we had? We had so many. Of course, Austin and The Undertaker. And this is when Austin busted his chin because Taker's put his head up and knocked him out unconscious, but they still went with the match. So it was a great match overall. The whole card was great. I enjoyed it very, very much. Number 2. Yeah, yep, I'm gonna get shitted for this, but I don't care. SummerSlam 2011, CM Punk versus John Cena. Why do I say that? Yeah, because the whole card was great. I enjoyed the whole card of SummerSlam. Because we had for the first time ever a full-blooded Latino cashing in the money in the bank and becoming the WWE champion, and that is Alberto Del Rio. That's why I chose that one. And not only that, but the card was not bad either. I mean, there was a great, couple good matches. I mean, I did enjoy, Randy Orton and Christian. That was one for the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that one. Yeah. And also, let's see. I'm gonna say, actually, yeah. I forgot about this. Mark Henry and Sheamus wasn't bad. Then you had Morrison, Kofi, and Mysterio versus R-Truth and Miz and Del Rio. But like I said, it was not a bad pay-per-view because I enjoyed the fact that Kevin Nash came, powerbomb CM Punk, Del Rio runs in and cashes in, does the kick, 1, 2, 3. It was just, I was happy. Sorry people. I mean, because I'm Latino, man. I'm Mexican, man. I gotta give my raza credit. I mean, and I love heels too. So it's not only I love babyface, but I love heels. So I really enjoyed that Del Rio won that one. And my number 1, of course, is the one that Mike and I went to, but I don't know if this is my number 1. This is my number 1. And it's SummerSlam 2013. And that is Daniel Bryan becoming the WWE champion, defeating John Cena. But then fucking Triple H fucked it all up. Pedigrees Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton comes in, cashes in money in the bank, and then becomes a WWE champion. And that was the show. Everybody was like, I was with my other buddies, and we're like, what the fuck just happened? First, we were excited. We're like, yes. I'm going to get shit on this because I was even telling a kid, that's right, John Cena sucks. I was telling him, he's Hulk Hogan. Like, we're just talking mad shit to the kid, but, because Daniel Bryan for us is our hero, our underrated hero, the one who is a short man that was never given a chance, and he pulled it off. And, of course, seeing Daniel Bryan in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla when I was there live as well before he was known as, Daniel Bryan, when he was Bryan, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. So a lot of history with Daniel Bryan that I enjoy and I admire so much freely. Also, you had Bray Wyatt versus Kane in Ring of Fire match. It was at the time,
right?
And I'm like, and that was when we saw Harper and Rowan putting the tarp on top of the flames, getting involved. And of course, Wyatt winning the match. It wasn't bad. And then Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, you had that match as well. Wasn't bad either. So I really enjoyed the whole card. It was not bad at all. And being there live was so great. I know Mike felt the same likewise, but it was awesome to be there because people chanting CM Punk, people even Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. Oh man!
Oh, the crowd was electric that night for sure.
Oh, hell yeah! And we can say that was the first. We were part at least of that era of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. That we could say that it was their era at that time. So. I
think that's what, if you trace everything back, from WrestleMania 30 all the way, it comes back to this, really, that moment. I believe the Authority was really born there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had no plans for Daniel Bryan to main event or anything to do with WrestleMania. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes, totally agree with that. And so that's my number 1, ladies and gentlemen. I've got 2 honorable mentions I'm going to have to mention, of course. And I'm going to mention SummerSlam 2002 because it's obviously The Rock and Brock Lesnar. And, of course, this is when The Rock was going to Hollywood. I think this is after the Scorpion King. I think this is when he... Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. I think it was when he did Too Cool, right? The movie Too Cool? Or Would Be Cool? I forgot.
I think so.
I think it was, right? or no, yeah, or Walking Tall. I think one of those. He was just leaving.
Or the Rundown.
Oh yeah, or the Rundown. You're right. But yeah, this is when The Rock left and passed the torch to Brock Lesnar. This is when Lesnar won the King of the Ring tournament and got his title shot for the WWE title, the undisputed title at that time. And of course, these when you had Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. That match was intense. And you know, before we record, I asked Mike if it was the first time they met. Mike corrected me that it wasn't. This is the second time, I believe, or the third time I think they met. But on a pay-per-view, this was a great match overall with Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle. And also, I forgot it. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, the unsanctioned match. This is a time that we did see Michaels coming back from his injury. I think at that time it was like 5 or 6 years out of the ring at that time, and won the match. And then that's when Triple H hit him with the sledgehammer, and they made a whole drama like, "Oh my God, he's out cold." Edge and Eddie Guerrero as well. Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ric Flair and Chris Jericho.
Yes, and that was a great match too. Didn't expect that from Ric Flair. I did not expect that. So that's one of my honorable mentions. My second one that I will have to mention here, and I think I will be shitted on this, but I don't care. And that is SummerSlam 2016. 2016. Why? Because this is when
What happened there?
Lesnar.
I don't remember.
Lesnar, Randy Orton, the elbow strikes, the bleed of blood and everything. They stopped the match. They made it realistic as hell. I was expecting more out of that match, but I guess the way they ended had us and the rest of the fans like, what the fuck just happened? This just became real. Like, this just really, really happened. Nobody knew the backstage. The only people that knew was Vince, Heyman, Lesnar, and Orton. Those are the four people that knew what the hell was going to happen at the end. This is when Jericho confronted Brock from backstage. What the fuck, man? You beat up my best friend. And this is when they were really going to get down, backstage in the real fight, because Jericho thought it was real. Like, what the fuck did you just do? Like, and yeah, so that was intense to hear about backstage about it. I wish they would have filmed it. I would love to see that.
Oh, man. That would have been... Oof.
I know, right? Oh, man. I would have loved to see that Jericho and Brock Lesnar going at it backstage. What the fuck, motherfucker? Like, but oh well. And there's also, you had Dean Ambrose and Ziggler. This is when Ziggler was getting his, I think he won a number one contender. And this is when Ziggler was getting hyped up. He never won a WWE title. This is, because Ambrose was a WWE champion at the time. And so Ziggler was the underrated one in this match. But it was a good storytelling because Ziggler was an underrated dog, even though he was a former heavyweight champion. But I enjoyed that match as well. And of course, Sheamus and Cesaro. That storyline itself was actually incredible. And this is this is the beginning times before they became BFFs and became a tag team. But I did enjoy seeing Cesaro and Sheamus because I think personally, Cesaro pushed Sheamus to the limit and made him better in the ring, in my opinion. I'm not saying that Sheamus is not great in the ring, but I feel like he improved a lot more with the psychology of Cesaro, of what he brings in the ring. That's just how I feel about it. And of course, you had Sami Zayn and of course Pac, Neville at the time, Dudley versus the Dudley Boys. And of course, you had The Miz and Apollo Crews. Oh, forgot about this one. I can't forget about this one. Shit, what am I doing? AJ Styles against John Cena. When AJ beat John Cena. That match was great too. It was a great storytelling match too. Especially the promos, how they were going at it with each other. And this is not for a title. This is just individual,
bragging rights.
Exactly. Bragging rights. Absolutely. Thank you very much. But yes, that match was not bad at all. It was great. And even Cena praises AJ because AJ's phenomenal for a reason. He's phenomenal in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. That is my list of best SummerSlam pay-per-views. Now let's go with the bike out of podcasting. Money Mike Lopez, the floor is yours.
Man, SummerSlam, my list kind of revolves around a certain era, and it's my list. So if you don't like it, I got 2 words for you. Make yours. So, number 5, I've got SummerSlam 1998. Now, this was one pay-per-view that I did not see when it aired. I've come to appreciate it as I've seen clips of it, and I've watched it later on in my wrestling fandom. So 98, Highway to Hell, you got AC/DC playing, Austin and Undertaker walking down, and a great promo. You don't see stuff like that anymore on wrestling TV. So man, it's just, if you showed it to your friends, their friends are like, oh, won't make fun of you for it. It's so cool looking. The pay-per-view itself, it was a pretty cool pay-per-view, I would say. But yes, having icons like Undertaker and Stone Cold, headline, and then of course Triple H and The Rock going at it for the Intercontinental title in a ladder match. I when I was barely discovering wrestling and I saw this match, I was like, well, why are they going after the Intercontinental belt? Shouldn't they be going for the main world title? But I didn't put 2 and 2 together at the time that they were rising. At the time, they were rising stars and on their way to the main event. So it just kind of goes to show the importance of the IC belt too. So matches like SummerSlam 98 definitely add to that legacy for sure for the IC belt. Number 4, SummerSlam 2001. This is at the peak of my fandom. I was all in for this invasion angle. I know it didn't turn out with a great ending, but SummerSlam 2001, it was pretty cool. Okay, I don't know if anybody has ever caught this, but watch during the Booker T versus Rock match, some dude is grabbing onto his woman during the match. You could see it in the crowd.
Really?
Yes. I'll leave you guys with that right there. And he does it like 3 or 4 times. Like he just grabs the boob, and I don't even know how I noticed that, but that happens during Rock and Booker T.
I'm gonna have to go back and see that now.
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and see that.
Yeah, and so again, I was all in for this invasion angle. I was like, whoa, and then Angle versus Austin, man, the emotion, I felt it going into it, that man, like Angle hated Austin for what he did to him at Invasion, and the humiliation and all that, and everything bubbling up. It the story leading into it, it was definitely awesome. And you had TLC, right? Was it TLC? No. Yes.
Well, it was TLC.
It was TLC, I believe.
Well, wait, no, wait.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was
TLC
just
was the year prior.
Yeah.
But great matches all around SummerSlam 2001. This number 3 did have the TLC match, and it was SummerSlam 2000. I remember watching this, and the main event, and really just seeing how the love triangle between Triple H, Stephanie, and Kurt Angle was going on. And I did not watch soap operas growing up, so this was really like dramatic, and like, oh, he's with her, but she's hinting at him, and he's trying to get at her and take her away from him, sort of thing. And oh god,
they're like Dos Mujeres Un Camino, right?
Yes.
Go back and see that. Google it at YouTube at Dos Mujeres Un Camino. There you
Exactly, soap operas to the max, man. And my goodness, to say that The Rock is an afterthought
go.
as champion,
Hey, right?
as champion, it says something, man. Really. And then the SmackDown before the pay-per-view, Kurt Angle kisses Stephanie, and yeah, just drama filled all around. But it made for an interesting and and compelling storyline while going into this. Of course, Rock coming out with the W, and again TLC, masterpiece.
That was the first one, right? That was the actual
Uh,
first one, right? Or yeah,
actual
it was
first one.
Yeah.
I believe the year prior, no, at WrestleMania earlier, they had the triangle ladder match.
Yes, trying like yeah, that was when
Yeah.
they was Bernie introducing like tables and ladders. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
no tables and chairs. I'm sorry, towards the ladder match. So that's
Exactly.
when that's how it became TLC at SummerSlam, pretty much, right?
I'm sure the marketing team got together and like, hey, we got something here,
We got
TLC.
something here. This
Yeah.
is good shit right here. This is good shit. Not the shit you're doing now, but that was good shit right then.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Next, number 2 is SummerSlam 2003. I particularly enjoy this one, mostly because, again, at the time it was the rise of my wrestling fandom, and I remember Angle and Lesnar having such a rivalry at the time too, that I was very, very invested in seeing how they had their WrestleMania match and everything coming back to this. Of course, Elimination Chamber.
First one.
No, actually, this was the second one.
Oh no, you're right. It is because
Yeah,
Goldberg was featured. You're right.
Yes, and then I really thought Goldberg was gonna walk out of there with that belt, but
No.
no,
No, not gonna
no,
happen.
no.
Sledgehammer.
Yeah, I was okay with the ending, honestly. I felt that yes, a sledgehammer can take you out, and some people said, oh no, this and that, and it was a bad finish, but I was okay with it. It's fine. At the time, I really looked forward to Elimination Chamber matches more so than today. I still kind of look forward to them, but at the time, it was such a special event, right?
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So yeah, this definitely upped the big fight feel, as they say.
Oh yeah, and then just realizing that too in the card. I'm just looking at it now and like, we even had Shane and Eric Bischoff, and then we had Guerrero and Benoit.
I was so shocked to see Jonathan Coachman attack Shane McMahon with a chair. That's like saying, let's see. That's like saying Alex Marvez coming out and attacking Jericho with a chair during his match or something like that. Like you would never expect him to do that, right? I did not expect Jonathan Coachman. I remember watching this and why, like, it just being so perplexed as to why this was happening. But it was what it was. And Kane had barely taken his mask off at this time. This was, I believe, his first pay-per-view without the mask.
Oh yeah,
he went up against Rob Van Dam.
You're right. Yeah. Baldy Kane. That's when Baldy came born, and then I just hate the fact they made him cut half of his hair, like really, like he had a 6 head, like just oh my god, it was just ridiculous. Well, but why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh my god. Oh man. Now it's time for
number 1. SummerSlam 2002. No question, that's it right there. The apex, the pinnacle of SummerSlams is SummerSlam 2002. The WrestleMania 17 of SummerSlams is 2002. Brock versus Rock. I read Lesnar's book that there was a rematch between Rock and Brock, but it was at a live event.
Really?
Yes.
Was it? It was okay. That's interesting.
Yes, there was a rematch, and it was at a live event. Rock won, but yes, this the first one was this one.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, Rock versus Brock, and man, ooh, okay. So kind of interesting story here concerning myself in this pay-per-view. At the time, I was underage, and I would usually go to a sports bar to watch these pay-per-views. How I got in,
don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask. However, I was all set. It was me and my brother were ready to go, and we arrived at the location, National Sports Grill in Torrance, and turns out that they closed. And this was before social media, before I had easy access to the internet. So I didn't know the announcement was made that it was closed. And I kid you not, we spent hours driving to different locations, and of course, I'm underage, so I was not able to watch it as it aired. So I had to go wait until the VHS popped up at my nearest Blockbuster. So yes, that's how much I wanted to see this pay-per-view, because I was so hyped about the main event. And of course, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, and of course, Eddie versus Edge, and of course, Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle, and well, Test versus Undertaker is so. But you know, this was a banger of a pay-per-view. To this day, I feel like I could watch it from start to finish. You know, so Ric Flair and
Jericho, right?
Chris Jericho, yeah. So definitely a great pay-per-view, one for the ages, and number one on my list.
All I can say is I feel bad for Taker because he was booked wrong. It was your BFF Bruce Pritchard that booked him. Who booked this shit? I wasn't there. So.
Two honorable mentions, of course, and we're gonna start it off with. I actually attended both of these SummerSlams. Yes, Staples Center, and man, I enjoyed when they used to have it here every year and they had access. And I feel like they wanted to make this the official home of SummerSlam, which makes sense, right? But eventually, alas, they took it away. SummerSlam 2013, I remember it like it was a few months ago. Triple H, was the guest referee of the WWE title match, and then after the match, Randy Orton, Mr. Money in the Bank, comes out and pretends he's gonna go into the ring, turns around. Okay, well, never mind. I'm going back to the back. Triple H pedigrees Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton waltzes on in there and covers him for the belt. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I still, to this day, remember the gasp from the audience.
Yes.
I remember, and just a shock, and I'm used to shocking moments on TV, the streak and all sorts of moments, but to see a shocking moment in person, it was just next level consciousness. Yes, so yeah, great stuff there, man. Like, and then of course, Ziggler defeating Big E. Yes, the Ring of Fire, that you could feel the heat from the fire going around. When they did they made it pop or whatever, you could feel the heat on your face. So a lot of great names, of course, in this card. First honorable mention. Second one happened the year right after that. I was there too. SummerSlam 2014. And for me, being in the audience and seeing the reaction to the main event, John Cena being squashed by Lesnar, it was just like people were kind of, again, shocked that this was happening. You don't see John Cena being squashed very, very often, if at all, at times,
I agree.
Yeah, so when the match is no longer than 10 minutes, maybe even less, So yeah, I swear this happened
Mm-hmm.
on my drive back home.
Uh-huh.
I saw Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman walking and going into Morton's Steakhouse to celebrate the win, and he was carrying both belts.
Are you serious?
Yes, on my drive back home. And
shit.
yeah, he was carrying both belts, and I remember Morton's Steakhouse. And since that day, I've been wanting to go in there because I'm like, if it's good enough for Brock Lesnar, it's good enough for me. So, there you go, sponsorship, Morton's.
There you go, Morton's.
So yeah, I want to. I have not gone yet, but someday I'll check it out.
It's good. It's good. I'm not gonna say it's the best, but I can say it's good quality. So like I said, I'm a steak guy. I love steak, but I will prefer more
Laurie's.
They're more prime rib though. But this is like more actually at the actual steakhouse, like a porterhouse or New York strip, or filet mignon type of style.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Ruth's Chris, but not Chris, Ruth's Chris and Fleming's, or Boa Steakhouse, or yeah. Those are the ones that I could say are top notch. Morton's is like round number 5 on my list. I could say, no, we're not making a top 5 steakhouse.
Top 5 steakhouses. It writes itself. It writes itself. But yeah, so that's my list. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
You know what? And you're absolutely. I just remembered something. 2014. I think that was what you said about John Cena. I think that was the first time we saw the reborn of Suplex City. I think that was the time, right? No,
that was WrestleMania 31. He was suplexing Roman Reigns, and he said, "Suplex City, bitch."
That's right, but when it started counting, though, I think.
Oh, the counting? Yeah.
Because they counted how many suplexes they gave him, like 16 or 18, I think it was.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, the counting was, and I did forget about that. Yeah, about Roman and Lesnar, like, oh, Suplex City, bitch, damn. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. That's right. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, of course, our other 2 hosts, they're getting ready because they're going to be performing soon. I mean, they have a band, so that's why they're going to be ready.
Yeah.
But stay tuned. We'll have 2 more other top 5s coming up. We're way behind from the weekly, but we're going to catch up no matter what. We still have to do a top 5 worst debuts, and we will be doing a top 5 best NXT TakeOver matches. Not events, not takeovers, but matches. It's 36 takeovers that are so they're enjoyable, and hopefully it's not the last. Obviously, you saw the Friday's episode, so we spoke about that with Anthony, of course, and Huntington. Shout out to you, Anthony. So yes, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed your Sunday. Enjoy it very well, and also don't forget to tune in. Which you'll be seeing that the League of Extraordinary Podcasts. You'll be seeing that coming up this week, and much, much more coming to you guys. So don't forget also, hit our link tree. Then hit on our merchandise. Get your very own Circle Debate coffee mugs right here. There you go. You want to enjoy your morning?
I ordered mine, so it's on its way.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh. Start up the morning fresh.
I'm sure it tastes sweeter, right? When it's from Circle Debate.
That's right. I love it. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in here for our top 5. And I'm going to let the By God podcast close this out. Let them know, Money Mike.
Of course. If you don't know, now you know. The best podcast in the world today. They don't call you great podcast. Not at all. They call you Circle of Debate.